All right, everyone. Thanks for coming back. And today we are going to be doing something a little extra special for our Wednesday class. I'm Shayna, one of the dietitians, and I'm so happy that you are joining us for this special class where we are going to be talking all about sunflower power. As you can see, I got my yellow shirt on. I love to be matching and have a good theme going. So I'm excited for what we have to talk about today. And here's what we are going to go over. We are going to talk about some sunflower fun facts, but then we're going to focus, of course, more on the power of sunflowers in our daily diet. All right. You might be thinking, did I join a dietitian class or a gardening class? It's definitely a dietitian class. Okay. I just have a love for flowers. And so anytime I can throw them into the mix of our classes, I love to do so. And then we will finish off with some sunflower products that we carry in our stores, as well as inspiration to go along with them. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, here we are, the first day of October. Is it even sunflower season? And the answer is yes, it still is. Okay. We might think about sunflowers in the summer, which is accurate. All right. Sunflowers typically bloom from August, but still going through early fall. All right. This picture here was taken me and my daughter three years ago now. If you can believe it, if you guys have been hanging out with us for a while, you have seen her grow up either on camera or in pictures, and she is almost as tall as me now, taller than those sunflowers in the pictures for sure. But that picture was taken, like I said, 3 years ago, but at the end of September. So there are still some sunflower fields that hang on through the end of September, beginning of October. There's evidence of that. Okay. But even though it might not be peak bloom of sunflower season, it is still sunflower season in the way of harvesting it, okay, which is what's going to really relate to food, which we're talking about today. So sunflowers are typically harvested from late September through early November. All right. So it's still legitimate that we're chatting about sunflowers today. Here are some sunflower fun facts that I pulled. They are native to North America, and Kansas is actually known to be the sunflower state. I have never been to Kansas, but considering it is called the sunflower state, it makes me want to go. Um, there are over 60 species of sunflowers, and among those 60 species, there are a ton of different colors. Okay, we have the iconic yellow color, but there are also creams and white, reds, browns, oranges, whoops, and some that are multicolored too. Okay, that's a little sneak peek of a picture. We'll get back to there. Sunflowers can grow up to 15 feet tall, and the head of the sunflower is actually composed of many tightly packed flowers, okay, that mature into the seed. So you have what you think is that flower, but the sunflower head is the head of many little flowers that, like I said, are tightly packed in there. Um, Sunflower buds turn to follow the sun. Okay. And I think that's something that people think about most often with sunflowers is how they look for the sun. And I always like to kind of relate flowers and to life and things like that. So stop to smell the roses as well as look for the sun like sunflowers do. Now, mature flowers, they do stay fixated to the east though, okay? Um, Now, here we'll go back to that sneak peek picture. When we're thinking about different colors of sunflowers, like I said, once again, we got that yellow in there, but here's one of those bicolor sunflowers with like the rose red tones in there. This is a beautiful bouquet that you can pick up in our stores. Right now, I know the store that I shop at has a cute little display in produce of some different sunflower bouquets, and they're all a little bit different and unique. This one, like I said, has that multicolor flower in there, but I've seen some other lovely ones that have the cream color sunflowers. This one has a couple of white roses tucked in there. So if you're in need of buying flowers for someone or just buying flowers for yourself, which I highly recommend, pick up one of these bouquets from our store because it will just brighten your day. All right. Now, here's the dietitian part. All right. The sunflower power. We're going to be chatting about the nutrition and health benefits once these beautiful sunflowers are harvested and we have those seeds. What are some good benefits that we can reap from them? Okay. Before we get into those actual details, I wanted to highlight the serving size. Okay. The serving size is going to be important from a fat content standpoint, which we'll chat about in a moment. But a serving size is considered a quarter of a cup, which also is 1 ounce. Okay, those are interchangeable. So a quarter of a cup of shelled seeds. Now, if you have seeds that still have the shell on, which we want to remove the shell when eating them, okay, then a half a cup is considered a serving there. Within that serving, you are going to get 7 grams of protein and 2 grams of fiber. Why is this beneficial? Both protein and fiber can help create satiety. I talk about it all the time. If your meals or if your snacks are lacking protein and fiber, then you're most likely going to become hungry later. Right? So those are two things we really want to fill up on, and we can easily do so with that serving size of a quarter of a cup of sunflower seeds. Both protein and fiber can also help balance blood sugar levels. You guys have probably heard of us talking about this before, but if not, just to kind of give you a quick snapshot of that, whenever you consume foods that have either naturally occurring sugar or added sugar, okay, it's going to digest into your system and your blood sugar is going to peak up, right? Now, if there are no sources of protein and fiber to go along with that, then that peak of blood sugar is going to go up and go back down, like straight down. So that's where we get into things like blood sugar crashes, where we're feeling fatigued and tired and low energy. And those spikes are also what can potentially cause your A1C to go up. So if you have heard your doctor talk about diabetes before or pre-diabetes, then we know we need to be mindful of our A1C, which is the average of our blood sugar over 3 months of time. So if that is an average number, the more spikes and peaks we get like that, the more that average goes up. So how can we help those spikes? We can make sure that we have protein and fiber along with those sources of sugar in our diet, okay? And that's even naturally occurring sugars. So if you love strawberries, that's great, but let's have an additional source of fiber or protein along with it to help those blood sugar spikes. Now, I mentioned the serving size is really important because of the fat content. The fat that is in sunflower seeds is considered a good fat for sure, but fat at the end of the day is still calories, okay? So we give the same type of speech when it comes to things like nuts, whether it's peanuts or pistachios or almonds. It's all good fats, but it is a lot of dense calories. So if we start overdoing the serving size, then we're probably going to start overdoing our calories that should be allotted to those types of foods. Now, because of the fat content, though, things like nuts and seeds, especially sunflower seeds, give us what I like to call long-lasting energy. Okay. When we incorporate them into our meals and into our snacks, it kind of goes into like this energy bank. Whereas the day goes on, your body can start relying on those energy sources as a little pick-me-up until it's the next time for you to eat. All right, so really great in that way. So going on to how else they can be helpful if we're thinking about those fats and heart health. The type of fat that is in sunflower seeds is linoleic fat acids, and these can potentially help decrease the risk of heart disease as well as help with blood pressure specifically. Sunflower seeds also have phytosterols, which are extremely important in terms of helping to lower our cholesterol. And overall, the big gist with both of these things, the linoleic acid or the phytosterols, is that they are these unsaturated fats. And we incorporating more unsaturated fats, that means we're probably going to be doing less of the saturated fats. So, we're thinking about the two differences there, unsaturated fat being the good fats that are going to be helpful to our heart, the saturated fats being those bad fats that could potentially be detrimental to our heart, especially our cholesterol. So the more often that we can replace those saturated fats with the good fats, which we would get from sunflower seeds, the better. Okay, what else do these wonderful sunflower seeds have to offer? They are going to have a good chunk of vitamin E. Vitamin E does a lot of wonders for our body, starting off with the fact that it is an antioxidant. And with it being an antioxidant, it can help protect cells from oxidative stress. And that stress could potentially lead to different cancers as well as other chronic diseases. So, more antioxidants that we can get in, the better. Vitamin E may also help decrease inflammation and promote circulation related to heart health. We talk about it a lot this time of year. It is flu season, cold season. We want to bolster our immune system. Vitamin E can potentially help strengthen those immune system cells. Also, there's a lot of studies to show that vitamin E may be protective towards brain cells and therefore counteract any type of cognitive decline, memory issues, those types of things. Vitamin E could potentially help with that. And then lastly, this is one that I typically think a lot about with vitamin E is that it could potentially help with our skin health. So you might see a lot of skincare products that are out there that have vitamin E, as well as hair care products, things like that. Vitamin E can help those systems as well. Minerals in sunflower seeds. Okay, we just talked about the vitamins, but they also have some minerals in the way of selenium and iodine, both which can be both can be helpful to our thyroid, as well as magnesium. Okay, and magnesium in this setting can really be helpful with muscle cramps. So if you're someone who suffers from a lot of cramps in your muscles, not only are we thinking potassium to help with that, but we're also thinking magnesium and sunflower seeds are one way that we can counteract that. All right, so now that we know why we want to incorporate them into our day, let's talk about some different products to help us do that. Okay, starting off with the simple one here, your sunflower seeds. Remember, we're just eating the inside of the seed, that kernel. We're not eating the outside of that shell, which isn't necessarily considered edible. It could potentially rip and tear different linings and things like that. They're not very digestible. So we want to be eating the kernels. And this is from our brand here. We have unsalted ones. So if you are watching your blood pressure, your sodium content, I would go for the unsalted ones. These can be used in a bunch of different ways, whether you're just snacking on them. But one way that I love sunflower kernels is on a salad. There's a restaurant that I go to that has a blueberry sunflower salad, which everything about that just appeals to me. But it's your salad greens and it has dried blueberries on it and sunflower kernels and then like a sriracha champagne type vinaigrette and feta cheese. And my mouth is watering. So I've tried to mimic that at home before, but it could be used on any type of salad for sure. Yogurt. Okay, I think oftentimes for a crunch in yogurt, we usually go towards granola, but why not a quarter of a cup of the sunflower kernels? It can be a nice mix in for oatmeal, as well as just other baked goods, maybe something like a cookie or a breakfast muffin, something like that. We could mix those kernels in there, as well as trail mixes. Once again, I think we think about like different nuts, maybe pumpkin seeds, but sunflower kernels or seeds could be a nice addition to homemade trail mixes as well. Now, if you are looking for some fun flavored different sunflower seeds, here are a couple of different brands. The David brand over here, they have lots of flavors. This in particular is your ranch. And I believe, if I remember correctly, out of all three of these brands, this one on the left, the David brand, was actually lowest in sodium, but they all were low sodium, meaning they were under 140, except the one in the middle. I believe the dill pickle was just over that line of being considered low sodium. But it's just to show you can still get that flavor and that funness with these foods that still has some low sodium options. So these could be a great swap out for things like chips or pretzels that could be a bit higher in sodium. And then also just kind of thinking about things that are in a shell like this and the fact that you have to take the time to get it out of the shell. When we're taking that time, we're kind of slowing down our eating process, meaning you become more mindful, right? Like these types of seeds where you have to take it out of the shell, you can't just take a big handful and throw it back, right? So when we have to take our time and think about eating, then the amount that we usually eat decreases. Okay, if that makes sense. Same thing if you are eating pistachios. I usually recommend get pistachios that are in a shell that you have to take them out of the shell because it's going to slow down how quickly you eat them. And then you're probably going to eat less. Okay, so some fun different ones in the way of that. Switching gears from the sunflower seeds to a sunflower seed butter. This could be a great alternative to peanut butter. Different schools have different rules and regulations about things like this, but this sun butter in particular, if the school is just nut free, but not necessarily seed free, then this could be a great way to still pack kids a butter sandwich in some fashion. And it's going to have the same amount of protein as peanut butter too, okay? So 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of this sunflower seed butter, they both have 7 grams of protein. This one in particular that I'm showing the picture of is also no sugar added, so it's simply just the sunflower butter there. So they also have 2 others. The original and the creamy. Both of these are going to have a little bit in the way of added sugar, but you can see they're not much. Okay, the original, only 3 grams of added sugar. Same with the creamy on the right. Anything under 8 is wonderful, under 6, even better. So either one of these can be a good option. And something that I love about it, the one here on the right specifically calls it out, no stir. I am not a fan of the peanut butter or almond butter or anything like that where you open it up and you got to stir it because it's just a mess, right? That's my only thing against it. So I think that these can be a good fix for that problem at times. Sun Butter also has a product out called jammies, which I think are really great. So if you're familiar with Uncrustables, also another great product, but Uncrustables are made with peanut butter. So the jammies are made with their sunflower seed butter and either strawberry jelly or grape jelly. Once again, both great products here. I love these even for myself. So if you're looking at this, like, I don't have young kids around or anything like that, don't blow this off, okay? I take these with me if I'm going to an event or something like that. I know I'm not going to have a good sit down lunch. Like, this is a way for me to get in a little bit of a meal on the go. So these are frozen and you just take them out and let them thaw and you're good to go. So once again, they're individually wrapped, great for on the go. I would definitely recommend them. Dole has a sunflower crunch salad, so similar to the one that I was describing in the restaurant. This one is going to have some good greens in there, carrots, green onions, kale, the cabbage, and then the sunflower kernels as well. So if you're looking for a good salad with the kernels already in it, that's a good way to do it. And doesn't it just sound good? Like sunflower crunch. Very good marketing there, I think. Next up is a product that you can find in our natural and organic section, especially if you are someone or know people who need a product that is gluten-free or grain-free. These are wonderful for that reason. This is from 7 Sundays. This is a sunflower seed cereal, okay? So they're made from cassava root flour and the sunflower seeds. Simple ingredients, as you can see across the board, 5 grams or less of added sugar, which is pretty amazing for a cereal. Different flavors, the real berry, the cocoa, the maple. The maple is what appeals to me most. My store unfortunately didn't have the maple, so I did pick up the cocoa one. And I wanted to try it for you guys to see what I thought of it because I haven't tried it before. Wow, it's much bigger than what I thought. Like these are pretty big pieces and they're flowers. They're really cute. Okay. And the second you open it, like you smell cocoa. Like they do smell really wonderful. So that's why that maple one I think would be really awesome too. I'm not big into like the berry flavored cereals, but I'm sure it's good too. But let's try this, see what it tastes like. That is good crunch. That's really good. Only 1 gram of added sugar. I am not missing the sweetness from that at all. That's pretty good. Very good. I wanted to have my daughter try it this morning so I could say that it was kid approved, and I completely forgot because you know how crazy mornings can be. But I feel like she would like that too. That's a good one. I would give that a try. Okay, the 7 Sundays, like I said, that's going to be in the natural and organic section of your stores with those cereals there. Similar to that, the Kind bars, they have a line of seeds, fruit, and nuts. They have a lot of different flavors. This is a newer one, so it might not be in all the stores yet. You'll have to check around, but I haven't tried it yet. It sounds delicious to me. Strawberry sunflower seed. It looks good. It has that appeal. There's also almonds and peanuts in it, though. 5 grams of protein. And some fiber in there as well. Oh, and look at that. That drizzle that you see on there, that's made with oat milk. Pretty cool. Okay. Check out for those bars there. Okay. Now, out of all of the products that we've chatted about today, this is my favorite and one that I eat on the regular that are new from Belvita. Belvita has been around for a bit and I've liked a lot of their different products, but these are their energy snack bites. And I haven't tried the blueberry because I am so stuck on the banana and dark chocolate ones. Like I love them a lot. And I'm not one to be able to usually say stuff like that about some of these different like higher protein, higher fiber products because you bite into it thinking it's going to be a cookie and then it tastes nothing like a cookie. These, on the other hand, are different. These are very good. I love to pair these with like a cheese stick if I need a quick breakfast on the go, something like that. But they are soft, but you then have that little bit of crunch of the sunflower kernel in the middle of them. And the banana ones in particular are not overwhelmingly banana, nor are they overwhelmingly chocolate. Like they are just a very good mix. Obviously, I could go on and on about them, but but I won't. Okay. But out of all of the items that we just chatted about, these are definitely my big sunflower pick for sure. Okay. Well, that was a good bit about sunflowers. I hope you learned a lot about the flower itself, as well as some nutrition information and why they can be a big powerhouse to us, as well as some products that you can pick up in our stores. If you enjoyed today and want to sign up for more classes, we would absolutely love to have you. We do not have a class tomorrow, but on Friday morning, I will be back for coffee chat with Kylene, and we are going to be chatting about something super special as we are going to discuss being in our orange era. And if you know what that means, you know what it means. If you don't, you are going to find out, and it's going to be an extra good time. If you have joined Coffee Chat before, you know that I get a little excited in the morning. Wait until Kylene and I are paired together because our energy is just gonna it's going to be high. Okay. And then Saturday, I hope you have registered for our in-person well-being workshop at Willow Grove. And then I'll be back again on Monday next week, guys. I'll be in the meal solutions class at 12 o'clock, where we will come up with a new recipe using ingredients that are on sale from our sales ad flyer, and whipping up a really nice meal with that. Okay. So at this time, I would like to say thank you so much again for hanging out with me today and this whole week, really. And I hope you take care and have a really great rest of your Wednesday. And at this time, I'm also going to turn off our recording. I see we have a couple of questions, so we'll go over those. But thank you once again for being here. If you have to leave, totally understand.